deleting background.
So we are in now.
Oh, perfect. Yes, yes.
Okay. So have you? Oh, where's the background? Put the background on. Come on.
Oh, you want the background? Okay. Hang on.
Okay. Mhm. Bring out King Charles in. King Charles,
Yeah,
come on.
it's your show. Okay. Oh
King
no,
Charles.
I can't recall how to do this now. Um,
Yeah. Did
uh, you're
yeah.
teaching me new skills.
Yeah. Did you go to settings and did something with the settings and go to the
Yeah.
uh add or is it yeah.
Are we
Have
are
you
we live?
we are live now?
Oh,
Yes.
stop it. This is a comedy show. I thought it was just us.
It's all part of
Oh,
the fun, you know.
you're terrible.
Okay,
You're
so
awful.
do you have the three dots on your profile? The three dots. One, two, three.
Yes,
So click on the three dots. Okay, and then
I've been embarrassed now because you've got thousands of people out there.
oh no worries. It's hi Joe. We are having to sort out something, Joe. Hold on a little bit, my dear friends. Hope you're all having great evening so far. Here in the UK, we are live with Catherine. She's still
They're
sorting
all
out
out
her
in the.
background, so please bear with us. In a second, we'll be with you.
You've got your audience. They're all waiting out there in the foyer. They're in their minks and drinking their champagne.
Yeah, so it's Joe from Yorkshire.
I was born in Yorkshire. I'm from Huddersfield.
Oh,
Oh, I don't know how to do this. I've forgotten. I don't know. Oh
can't you
no.
remember? I know every
No.
time I do something like that, I always have to, I forget, and it's like I'm doing it afresh. But
Well,
if
maybe
there are
I'll
if there are
reset
three
it next
dots,
time.
if there are three dots on your profile, because I can see three dots somewhere on my sort of your square. If you can look at it on the screen somewhere, just click on those. Let me see if I can do anything from this way.
I can't see those dots, and I'm
Okay,
wearing my
okay,
glasses.
okay. So can you go under settings probably and try to see if you get in from
Because
settings?
am I not there? Am I? I
Hmm.
can see myself.
Okay. Yeah, it's difficult. Hi, Alma. Hi. Great
I'm
to see
there.
you. Yeah. So we're trying to sort out a technical issue, dear friends. If you bear with us, 2 minutes, we'll be there. We want to put our background up for King Charles. It's gonna be a royal visit in Australia soon. So
Oh,
Catherine
oh my
wanted to have.
God! It's the
Have you
Laurel
put
and
it up?
Hardy show. No,
No,
I can't. I can't find it. I'll
you
tell you
can't.
what I'll do.
Hmm.
Next time I will put it up and it will become a permanent fixture. I won't
Okay.
touch it again.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
because I've changed the live stream round, so we lost your old settings. So you might have to
Yeah.
do the settings back in your own free
Sorry.
time. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah.
Oh my,
But where's
I
your
need a
dog?
drink.
Where's your dog? You should get your dog with you there.
Oh, darlings, I feel like I need to get with the crowd.
Yeah.
Everyone has their dogs, and
Yeah.
I've got
And
my dog.
I've got mine here. Look. It's like the thing on YouTube with these dogs on
Oh,
live
we got
streams.
our
Yeah.
dog.
Oh, yours looks
What's your
so cute. Did it come and
What's
look
your
at this
dog's
cute dog here?
name?
Come. Oh, come look at the cute dog. Look. He's so cute. Oh, isn't that lovely?
Yes,
He's
and
he's
yours
Look
too.
at mine here.
he's so
I know.
he doesn't cost much to feed. What's your dog's name?
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't have to be a very expensive one, does it?
No, no.
Right. How is my
This is
sound? Is it okay?
your sound is very good, and banter is approving.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, he approves.
Okay, so we've got our companions here, so we are not alone. Okay, so I'll hold it like that.
Oh, darling.
There's this thing on with dogs on YouTube. So, yeah,
I
I've got
know,
my
I
own
know.
one here and yours
Well,
too.
he's listening in. I've
Yeah,
got him here on my knee.
best
So,
friend. Thank you,
yeah,
Princess. Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah, so Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, they are in Colombia as we speak right now. And is this another quasi royal trip? Is it one of those uh, mini royal trips, visits abroad? Because we still see it has all elements of a royal visit, invited by the vice president, who is officially assistant head of government. So surely this might be looked at as a trip which is recognized by the government, and looking at how they have planned it out, with at some point Meghan Markle breaking off and speaking to the girls, and then Prince Harry at some point will be meeting a small group of individuals and they will go into a focused group discussion, and then Meghan will go down with the vice president, and Prince Harry will also at some point go with the husband of the vice president, and they will be attending a state dinner with the vice president. So it has all elements of a royal visit, yet it's not. So I don't know how this visit is going to be looked at by many out there, Catherine.
Well, it really raises a lot of questions about their motivation and their intention, and particularly in light of the unexpected resignation of their CEO.
Mm.
So we have to question what was the purpose of it. Was there a dispute over the trip? Was there because it was brought forward, they were supposed to go later in the year. So there are a lot of questions around this, and I think some media outlets have said that the Nigeria trip was successful, but other people who understand the royal protocol and understand the purpose of a royal visit, question that. So what is this all about? I mean, Meghan Markle in Nigeria established her Nigerian credentials. What sort of credentials do they want to establish this time?
Exactly, exactly. And obviously, we know that um, Prince Harry wanted to reach out to his father before the trip, and there was no chance. King Charles was very busy, so we know he
Mm.
didn't meet his father before going. So he can't even lie to us that he had the blessings of his
Yes.
father ahead of this trip. So we are now very sure that whatever Prince Harry, Meghan are going to be doing on this trip is entirely their own ideas, their thinking, and I don't think the royal family had a hand in how this was going to be panned and how this was going to be played out in Colombia. Okay, but it is. I want to share this page with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see. How can I get it? Okay. Yeah, has it come? Has it come
It did.
over?
No, it did come up. Did. It wants to.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
obviously, so as you can see, looking at what is being
Mm.
written about this trip is not good news. Okay. Uh, it has been called a disastrous move. The Colombians themselves are very confused. They don't know what this trip is all about. It appears the vice president of Colombia had briefed them up. Apparently, she made a press conference earlier before Meghan Markle arrived, And it is as though that was the real first time the Colombians got to actually learn about, okay, this is serious, it's coming, but what are they coming to do here? So it hasn't got off to a very good start, per se. The Colombians themselves think this is a wastage of public funded money. Okay, in security, in the hotel accommodation, we were meant to understand that Meghan and Prince Harry actually arrived last night and they stayed somewhere in a hotel. Okay, so who is paying that money for the hotel? And it was a luxurious hotel where they stayed. Who is paying all that money? The streets were lined up with soldiers, literally an army of soldiers lining the streets of Colombia, waiting for Prince Harry, and they were saluting as Harry drove past. So again, that massive deployment of security on the streets, which was unheard of in Colombia, is all leading people to ask so many questions as to where is all this money coming from, where we haven't seen it being used to do things in the country.
Mm,
It's
mm,
highly corrupt,
yeah, yeah.
resources, the roads, the schools are in tatters. Okay. So this is where people are criticizing this trip. It's draining an already struggling economy. What are your thoughts on that, Catherine?
Well, it reminds me of because I've read a number of books on um, Edward and Wallace Simpson, and the best book is by Andrew Lowney because his citations, his bibliography is really extensive. And in the end, what happened with them was they just became renter royals. They became available to whoever would pay the right price because
Mm,
they were really homeless after they left the royal family. They had no purpose. They lived they lived out their
mm,
days in isolation. So you can be sure Harry and Meghan don't have their hand in their pocket for this tour, if calling it a tour loosely. And it will be the Colombian public that are paying for it. But
mm,
it's what I'll tell you what I find um, disconcerting about it is that Harry is not two things. There's two things. The first one is Harry can't go back to the UK because it's so dangerous. I can't take my children and my wifey back here. It's too dangerous. I need to up my security and get my IPP status back. Okay.
mm,
And but he's not going to his uncle's funeral, which I believe the date is still not announced. Its private funeral is next week. So there's that. Okay. But he can go to Colombia, which is notorious, and there are travel warnings from the United States, Australia, the UK. Yeah, travel warnings have been issued to the
mm,
public. So,
mm,
so there's that. Okay, the hypocrisy is glaring. The other thing is, which is on a different note, I find it staggering, absolutely. But this is what you get in these environments, the treachery of these two, largely driven by Meghan, but she's got a useful idiot there. I'm
mm,
sorry to use that term, but he really is. But
mm,
she wouldn't be able to do it if he didn't have this nature already within him. The royal
mm,
family are under enormous pressure with the illness of the king and the Princess of Wales. Um, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, has had her brush with cancer this year. And then we had the Princess Royal out of commission after an unfortunate incident with a horse. And
mm,
yet, this is what this is really all about. In my view, this is my opinion. Um, I believe they're just trying to establish themselves as an alternate royal presence, while the presence of the monarchy is somewhat diminished because of illness and misfortune. And for them to come in and swoop in like vultures on what they believe are the carcasses of the royal family, for them to do this at a time like this, I find breathtaking. I get the hypocrisy over his uncle's funeral. We expected it. We knew this. We expected that. But I find this degree and public treachery, because it's all out there because of social media. Back in the
Mm.
day with Queen Elizabeth I and Henry VIII, all this treachery, the public didn't have access to the machinations, but it's all out there in the public.
Mm.
And I find that breathtaking. I find it like, no one, why would anyone trust these two when we see the way they treat their own families?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you've summed this up all very well, Catherine. Very, very well. It's uh, it's just it's just so perturbing to see that time and time again they are doing what I mean. They are not doing what they preach. Okay, so they are always doing the opposite. They are always contradicting their own actions, their statements. Everything that they set out to do is the opposite of what they are meant to be doing. Most recently, Harry stood on that television interview and told us how risky it was. Okay, how extremely risky it was for him to come to United Kingdom, and his wife, well, he was worried his wife could be stabbed or thrown at something, and a replay of what happened to his mother, Princess Diana, saying all sorts of very, very insulting things to the UK public. Basically, that's what he meant by saying UK is not safe at all for him to come and for at least to bring his wife and kids. And then we see him embark on one of the most riskiest tours, go to a country which is, when you read everywhere, news in United States, UK, all everywhere on these travel websites on the situation of traveling to Colombia, and all we see is people are being told to be very careful traveling down there. The websites are highlighting this influx of threats and kidnaps and assassinations and that stuff, of all of that sort of thing. Okay, so but here they are going to that country. So UK, Colombia, where would they feel safer? It appears as though they are insisting they are more safer in a country which is highlighted as one of the riskiest. So should we take him serious when he says he's not coming here because it is risky? UK can't bring his wife, children because it's risky. When he has taken his wife, there were talks of them going with their children to a country which is highlighted as the riskiest. Okay. Of course, we won't. Okay. And then we can't blame people when they criticize Meghan Prince Harry constantly of going against what they always preach. Now, Princess Harlot, I think, mentioned something very important at some point. She said the Colombians are very unhappy with how a lot of money, taxpayers' money, has been wasted on this trip. And they are very right, because when you look at the army of soldiers and the police they've put out on
Yeah,
the streets for these two, it's ridiculous for a country which has been
mm,
struggling economically.
good
And
point.
she makes a very, very good point. And that money could have gone into looking after the children, facilitating schools, which we have had, many of which in Colombia are in dire situations. All that money would have gone there. But look, Prince Harry, yeah, and me, we are here, and security on the streets, and apparently they flew to Colombia via a jet, again, that is very telling of, how it's a lot of money being put into this trip. Who is funding this trip? And of course, you touched on this important point of, portraying themselves as the modern royals, and they are utilizing this time when the royal family is going through a lot of difficulty with health, and King Charles, Catherine, and they know that it's also the summer period, so they are taking some time out. So for Meghan and Harry, they are then using this time to, okay, let's step out there and steal all this limelight, and show the world that
Mm,
we are the
mm.
new version of the royal, who are modern, who are young, all that sort of thing, which isn't actually playing out any positively on the side of Meghan and Prince Harry. If at all, it is really painting a very, very dark picture of these two. Mm,
Well, I
okay.
agree. I feel they look like these. They're really presenting themselves in a way that's quite ghoulish, and it's they look like vultures. It doesn't matter where they go, as long as it upholds their claims about their victim narrative. And what is also important to remember is Harry has some outstanding court issues. How is this going to help his argument? If he
Exactly.
if he feels he can travel to a place like Colombia, won't this hurt his arguments in the courts that he has a record of traveling to these places and he feels quite comfortable there? So you're doing okay. You don't need our help. I don't understand the logic. I understand their motivations, which is largely driven by Meghan Markle's narcissism and her belief that she's this figurehead, this vacuous figurehead of, I don't know what she represents, what she thinks she represents, but I don't like, and who knows that some of the disputes between their CEO and the couple were over this very issue, that the claims that they're presenting in the legal forum are not going to be helped by these kind of trips. I,
Exactly.
I, I don't understand the logic.
I don't. And obviously, there wasn't some listening or taking advice from somebody, whether it was Prince Harry or Meghan Markle, because I surely think they have been advised effectively on the steps to take with
Mm.
regards to this trip. And I'm sure behind the scenes, there should have been somebody who might have talked about all of these things. Okay,
Yes.
we have this court case going. You're alleging that you don't have enough. I mean, you need enough security to visit UK. You can't visit
Mm.
because you're worried of being whatever on the streets of UK. And here you are flying to Colombia. It's known to be one of the riskiest places to visit. Okay, so all of these should have been issues that were talked about behind their camp. But
Mm. Mm.
obviously, Meghan, Prince Harry are like the fathers and mothers of their their actual foundation, and Invictus Games. It seems they don't take any advice from anybody. Even we know mothers and fathers listen to their daughters and sons. Okay, but for Meghan and Harry, it looks like they are not listening to anybody's advice. They're just going to their way as long as it suits their narrative or it works for them at that specific time. So Prince Harry, if he set out to utilize this time when the royals are having a break to go there and steal all the limelight, he will go for that. Everything else will go away. Of course, we know Meghan Markle is also craving for this limelight. She wants to be on the stage, and they are happy now because they know the headlines are all theirs right now. But that does not surprise us as well when
Mm.
we see them changing executive directors or the senior leadership within their foundations. We know that they've had over 10, 15 leaders hand in their notice to finish work and, to resign. They've had many of those resign, with the most recent one who had only just joined, how many weeks? 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago,
That's right.
parting ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
again, that tells us that there is something that is not quite right in their foundation and their operations. And the right thing to do is for somebody to leave if they are not their advice and their thoughts are not listened to. And this is the situation we are seeing. So somebody the other day said Meghan and Harry are the hardest people to work with. And if you get a job with them, just know if you're going to be strong enough, you probably last about 3-4 months in that position and go, because you are just literally going to be advising people who don't take advice. Okay. So this trip in particular, I don't think people
Hello, Francis.
were. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Are we back?
Yes, yes, it just
Yeah,
shut.
yeah,
Just that. It's good. Good.
yeah.
Continue. Yeah. Yeah.
So we would probably have people in their management who were opposed to this trip happening. And we have that photograph we are looking at. This is Francis Marquez. So this is the vice president of Colombia. So she's the first black president of Colombia. You would say she's highly popular, very liked. But we found out recently through reading these articles that she's very, very unpopular, and she herself has been a threat of, for assassinations and target for terrorism and those things. And she walks around with a lot of security with her. So, and what does that tell us? Then we are having Meghan Markle, of course, connecting with her. So that they are sort of birds of the same feathers will fly together. So it doesn't surprise us again that they have, out of all the leaders and invitations, they've chosen to answer her invitation. Government which is allegedly very corrupt and all of that sort of thing. Again, bad moves for Meghan and Prince Harry. Yeah.
Well, have a look at her in that photo. She's just absolutely so controlling. She's such a micromanager. Look at the way the other woman is holding Harry's hand, and Meghan is holding on to the other woman. How extraordinary if they want to present themselves as an alternate royal presence. Just handle yourself with a bit of discretion and um, restrain yourself from trying to control and manage every situation. There's Megan. I can imagine what it must be like working for her. The staff. There's no breathing space. No breathing space. And I worked in many years ago when I first went back to work. I worked in a home office, and if you're working in a situation where the home is volatile, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult working under those circumstances. So, I look, Megan is just there's no words to describe her really, because we're witnessing this. She doesn't see any issue with these questions that we raise about her conduct in public. She thinks everything, according to her protocol, is a-okay, but she doesn't. She's got no social awareness. It's her way or the highway. It's as simple as that. I mean, who wants to go to one of the most dangerous countries in the world to be surrounded by all of this security, to remind the public back home in the UK that you need to have security? It's like, The mental gymnastics, just it's just you have to put yourself in a pretzel in order to try and understand the mental gymnastics that they go through in order to justify these stunts that they keep pulling. I just find it, they're a very strange couple, but I do think Harry is in. I just have a deep sense he's watching his body language on that TV interview in these early photos of them arriving in Colombia. He looks uncertain. He looks a bit not sure of the way things are going, and I just sense he wouldn't feel sure-footed because the CEO of Invictus um, departed very shortly after the ESPY Awards, that when he accepted that award, and now his CEO's gone. Deep down, he knows he's in trouble. He's floundering. That's what it looks like to me. That this is a
Mm,
man who's
mm,
floundering
mm,
mentally and also within himself. He's lost his bearings. He doesn't
mm,
have it. See, everyone. I put up a post a little while back when they first announced this. Quite a few sugars came in. Oh, well, Sophie went there. Sophie did this. Sophie did that. The royals have been there before. The point is, um, when these, and you would know this, having worked in that institution in the capacity you did as Royal Guard, they have an advance team, and they send ahead the advance team, and they prepare the way, and the advance team makes sure that everything is in place, that it's going to be smooth sailing when you arrive, and they do. Those royal tours look like a swan gliding along the water, but all the work's going on underneath.
mm, mm.
But they don't have that. And now, with the departure of their CEO, it's clear they don't want anyone telling them how to do any of this stuff. They don't want to take, even if security concerns are raised, they don't want to listen. And it's not good. It's not good. It's not,
It's
this
no,
is not going to end well. And I
it
don't mean the
isn't.
trip entirely, but the whole edifice that they are erecting for themselves, it's not going to end well because they can't take advice. And unlike Sophie, she had the whole royal edifice behind her. She had an advance team, and everything went smoothly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and how many times have we had senior royals cancel trips to certain
Yes.
parts and areas of countries they intend to visit because of political unrest? We have seen the royal family answering invitations from countries that are respecting human rights, countries that have got at least a certain standing, good standing with the international community. So everything is well planned out, and there is a group of individuals who are tasked to plan these all operations and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that everything goes according to plan. Okay, this is something we don't see with the Meghan and Harry, and of course we will never see that because since they left, it means that they just left with nothing anyway. So, and these are people who we knew even before leaving that they needed a lot of help, a lot of support in accomplishing tasks. So we sort of saw this coming that they will always be struggling out there. But like you said, it might work for them in the short run, but in the long run, this isn't going to be working out. And if you have people uh, joining your company and leaving 3 months later, who is gonna want to work with you? Okay, you can't be a one-man island. You can't be a one-man company. If they want to be successful, and build a larger brand, more successful, then they have to work on the culture within their establishments. But at the moment, with this high turnover we are seeing in their company, it isn't telling a good story of how they run their company, and certainly doesn't paint a good picture of them being individuals who can take on advice.
Well,
Okay.
the kind of people they want to employ are people who are well established, people who know their jobs. They're not going to attract quality executives. And even when she was doing her Spotify series, the producer there came out and, she was very clear about it that she did all the legwork, she did all the work, and it was not a good review. And I mean, we all live in the age of Google and Google reviews. I'm a Google reviewer myself, and I'm always eager to put my opinion up there. People want to know who they're dealing with, but we know who we're dealing with Meghan and Harry. We know, and I usually say Harry and Meghan, but with Meghan and Harry, we know exactly who we're dealing with, and I'm always surprised when a new person joins their team, but they never last. I mean,
Mm.
their reputation is really in tatters, and I don't know how they don't see this as a problem. Um, and also, why would anyone want to make any donations to the Archewell Foundation when it looks so unstable?
Oh, I'm telling you, and this is the thing. The other day, I was telling one of my friends because he was asking me whether uh, the British, British royal family is consulted each time these two want to go and do their business, because if the royal family is angry with what Meghan and Harry are doing, then they would have already put out statements to say, listen, what is going on here is with Meghan, we are not part of it. And these two are doing their own thing, we are doing our own thing. They are still leaving them on the royal family website. So surely the royal family should be aware of what the Meghan and Harrys are doing. They went to Nigeria, they were not called out. They inspected the Guard of Honor. The national anthem was sung for the
Mm.
Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So surely it looked like a royal visit. So he was asking me why, surely the royal families are aware, and they are probably happy with what Meghan and Harry are doing and these projects. And I turned around and said, I don't think they are, because obviously we know the royal family's principle of, stay calm and don't say anything and just ignore things and work out plans behind the scenes. So that could be what is going on at the moment with the royal family. They are observing these things taking place. At the moment, we are seeing inaction, but behind the scenes, there could be some sort of action going on to stop
Mm.
these trips going on in future for Meghan and Prince Harry. And we obviously we have had a few hints that the royal family is not happy with this. Some of those
Mm. Mm.
public statements issued by the representatives of His Majesty the government, His Majesty's government abroad. So we had last time in Nigeria, the ambassador, UK ambassador to Nigeria in Lagos issued a statement and said Meghan Markle, Prince Harry are here in Nigeria, but not on a royal visit. This is purely their own private arrangement. If they are leading this as a royal visit, it's totally wrong, and the king is not aware of anything like that. Okay, so, and I'm sure at some point, somewhere during this trip, if Meghan and Harry take this trip a step too far with how they are going to be leading those engagements, I'm sure the representative of the British government in Colombia, an embassy down there of some sort, would come out and say this is not a royal visit. We also know here from reading on the BBC, this is more or less, it's a government newspaper, and they've written a big article, acknowledging this as not being a royal visit. So we know that, and of course, they would have written that on a directive, okay, coming from somewhere. So we know that the royal family is watching their moves and is doing its part to tell us subtly that, yeah, they are on their private arrangement. We are not part of their moves. Now, allegedly, we know that there are it's a summer period going on here. The royals are resting. Catherine, Princess of Wales, William are going to be in Sandringham, is it Balmoral, for the summer break. And we hear that there could be allegedly a summit which will be taking place. And part of that, they will be
Mm.
discussing about the future of Meghan and Harry, allegedly. So this could involve stripping off those titles or maybe downgrading them on the royal family website. But there is certainly something allegedly cooking behind the scenes with regards to Meghan and Harry going forward.
I actually think you're right. I saw those reports about the possibility of their titles being tabled in their summit, and I think that is that's to me it felt like a dig or a pointed reminder to the Sussex. I felt like that was sanctioned by the palace for that to go out there into the public space. Whether they will or not remains to be seen, but I believe that they've been reminded that their largesse as their public largesse is really beholden to the royal family because they left, they went on their freedom flight, but they took, they got away from the awful royals. Oh, they're so bad. But, they kept their titles. So I think that the that statement about the possibility of their titles being tabled in a Balmoral summit, I believe that was actually from the palace. I believe it was sanctioned. It was a remind. I believe they're yanking their chain and reminding them who they are and that your royal reputation and your royal largesse is
Mm,
completely at the discretion of the royal family. You're not out there on your own, and
mm,
we will have a say in how we proceed. Because Megan is obviously really ticked off about this Balmoral summit. And you've just reminded me because I was thinking, why is she going off in a narc rage? I'm going to release this book and I'm not going to hold anything back. And there's going to be a chapter on Catherine. And I thought, this sounds like a narc rage. And she said, it's because they snubbed us with their Balmoral trip. No, it's not. It's because this has been said out in the public space, and
mm,
she knows, she's been put on notice,
mm,
and I know. I mean, I have a lot of empathy. I've said this before. I have a lot of empathy for the king, and I can't see him removing their titles. But if they're pushed far enough, I mean, Harry and Meghan, in my view, are playing a very dangerous game with this Colombia trip.
mm, mm,
It's my view. I feel they're playing a very. They're not in New York. They're in
mm, mm,
Colombia.
mhm,
And the this is not Nigeria. They're in Colombia. Nigeria's got its own problems, but it's like they keep upping the ante with their
mm,
antics. And
mm.
I feel this trip is a very dangerous game of poker on their part.
They're putting themselves in danger all the time, and
Yeah.
obviously there would have been somebody who must have advised them that, yeah, listen, this is not the right time to go. You hold back, but of course they didn't listen. And reading around, of course, you see so many questions being raised. Colombians themselves, asking what Meghan and Harry are there for in Colombia. This big question here: are they here to help us? Locals are very confused. Okay, what Meghan and Harry are there for, because there is a lot going on in the country. There is,
Exactly.
yeah. And then suddenly Meghan Markle, Prince Harry announced as visiting. So are they, in what capacity are they visiting us? Okay, so they are coming here to visit schools, but are these schools being funded by Archwell Foundation? Where are the details of how they've been supporting these schools? Of course, those details are nowhere. So are they are they coming in then to use us as a stage to try and gain, their visibility in this part of the world? And all of those questions are being raised. And what is also interesting is that the choices of their trips and the countries they go to are countries that have got a certain record with
Yes.
the community, which is not great. So, why are they going to these countries? Why? You know, so there is a reason behind that. So, it all comes down to what you said earlier, being very shallow minded in terms of right, that sense of judgment. If we go to these countries, if we are seen speaking to people like this, or if we go to a country which is such and such in terms of its security situation,
Mm.
what could happen to us? What risks are we putting ourselves in? And most of all, they are there to talk about those subjects, the very, very sensitive subjects. They're going to talk about social media, cyberbullying, and, you know, looking at social media landscape as being against them. So you can see that they are against everybody here. Okay. And you cannot fight against social media and you win. This is a platform that made Meghan and Prince Harry what they are today. If only they could acknowledge the power of social media in actually making great things happen, and just remind people to be aware, though, of the bad things that might come out of social media. Okay. But they are more, they're approaching these subjects on a negative point of view, and stressing that they've been harassed, they've been. But then when you look at the Sussex squad and how that squad is also harassing people online,
Well,
and
look at what they
and
did
these
to
are
Catherine.
you know so again, not preaching what they practice, because if they are to address or tackle these issues, they should start from tackling the Sussex squad issue, because it's becoming a big problem. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't. I mean, the problem with Megan is her ego is so fragile that the slightest criticism threatens her. She can't hear any different voices. I mean, had she spent time with the feminist icon Gloria Steinem, and Gloria Steinem gave her a bracelet because one of Gloria Steinem's quotes is linked, not ranked. And they had that, little powwow in the so-called Megan's so-called garden. It's probably a rental property, and they're sitting there, and the dogs were there. And the thing is with Gloria Steinem, you need more than a photo opportunity with a feminist icon to be recognized as a feminist, because she's claiming this book, this tell-all memoir that's going to lift the lid on the royal family, is about the empowerment of women. Well, the cornerstone of feminism is amplifying the voices of women. So why do they want to shut women down?
Hmm.
Why do they? It's Meghan. It's Harry as well. He's as fragile as Meghan. But you can't call yourself a powerful feminist if you're trying to shut women down, because women rely on the internet now. Post COVID, the hybrid work model, working from home, uh, working on Zoom meetings, I do a fair bit of, I'd go on some Zoom meetings with, a couple of people that I'm involved with, and you can't shut them down. You can't. This is all about Meghan controlling her own narrative. And then think about this. There are a lot of people online that don't comment, they don't say anything. There's probably quite a bit of support for her online that's not showing itself, partly because there are so many people criticizing her. But if you try to shut them down, you're going to lose half your audience. So
mm, mm, mm,
again, the logic of their arguments doesn't hold up. Gloria Steinem, she authored over a dozen books. That's not including her essays and her papers. And she was a leading icon in the 60s and 70s in the feminist movement. And she had her critics, but she debated with them, she argued with them, she argued for the inclusion of men in the feminist movement. This is someone that Meghan is supposed to look up to, her mentor. Well, if you're going to look up to someone like Gloria Steinem, you need to actually follow her lead. But Meghan
mm,
can't do that. She can't do
mm,
that. So she's a total, absolute fraud in the feminist space. And the reason I'm a bit fired up about this is because I've just finished a video I'm going to post later about her claims of
mm,
empowering women. No, you want to disempower women. You want to shut down free speech. You
mm,
can't have it both ways. And like you just said, if you succeed with that, you're going to lose everyone.
mm, mm,
There's no
mm.
one left.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've just hit the nail on the head there because many women out there nowadays, don't look at her as a role model. And but it starts from the fact that they lied. They've been lying on most of these projects, and they've been um, the channel they've been using to get to where they are is based on victimization, dwelling in negativity, and controversy after controversies. And young people, young women nowadays don't want that sort of stress. So she isn't actually being looked at as a
No.
positive role model. And that's why we look at these ratings, Meghan and Harry go down every day. They've now hit their lowest they have ever been.
Wow.
And you would imagine going on trips like these would elevate their ratings. They went to Nigeria. When they came back, ratings down to near zero. If they've gone to Colombia, the ratings have still gone down. So it is telling a big story here. And so we see, of course, if you're going to a visit like this, at least do something that is going to make you be part of the community you're you're visiting. Look like them. So, and we see that happening with Catherine, William, when they are going out there to visit on these trips, they do their best to do a bit of research about the culture, so then they wear similar clothings, or at least something that is going to recognize the country they are visiting, or a flag somewhere, or colors, somewhere. And we see a Meghan Markle here turn up in outfits which are, which are made by designers from, United
Mm.
States. Very expensive outfits with no real attachment or support for the local designers, the
So
local,
good.
yeah, which is not helping at all. And that's why the Colombians are asking these questions. What are they here for? To help us, or to drain us? If they can't even wear clothing that are made by our designers here on a trip which is meant to be, we want to come and learn more about Colombia, talk to the Colombians. Okay. So it's
You're right. They're not promoting local trade or local business, or they're not upholding local entrepreneurship at all. It's all about, I wonder if they come bringing gifts. I wonder, like, you don't turn up anywhere empty-handed. Even if you don't, like, you go out for dinner to a friend's place, you may not have much in your cupboard, but you rifle around and find something and a bottle of water or wine. You don't turn up anywhere empty-handed. You have to leave your stamp there. But when they were in Nigeria, um, Harry was being given some gifts, and they were these beautiful coral beads. They were actually really gorgeous,
mm,
and Meghan, she stepped in front of him, and she accepted the beads that were for Harry, and she put herself in the line so that the beads were put on her and the bracelet, but they were for Harry, and the dignitary had to take the beads off her and put them on Harry, and he had another set of beads for her. It was so humiliating. But she walked in front of Harry and she just believed, oh, this is all for me, it's all for me. But you don't go anywhere and behave like that. You are grateful for anything that anyone gives you, but you don't stand and block your husband's way. And it was actually highly embarrassing. I just found that humiliating, but she's got a brass neck. She's not
mm,
embarrassed. But
mm,
the dignitary actually had to take the beads off her and put them back on Harry. Oh my God. So
mm.
this taking everywhere you go. And I think you've brought up a really good example with
So, so,
Catherine and the way she promotes fashion, and she would be wearing local designers and she would
mm,
be embracing local fabrics. There's none of that with Megan,
mm,
and it's a real pity because uh, that's people then are so excited and they're sorry to see you go. You
mm,
know,
mm, mm. So you see Catherine there on their visit. This was their Caribbean visit the other day. And you see our dear Catherine there wearing this dress, it's a long sleeved dress. It's a
beautiful.
perfect dress, very, very royal outfit, not sharing any skin. It's just perfect, long sleeved, all tied up to the top. And
Oh,
you
it's
see all
beautiful.
these all the dresses she wears. Now, when you compare this to what Meghan Markle wore today, and the outfits she's been wearing on these past trips to Nigeria. The other day, wearing a nearly backless dress, and today, that near enough all her arms are out. You can tell the difference between real royals stepping out, and people who are nowadays masquerading to be royals, but still wanting to be seen as royals stepping out. You get where I'm coming from, Catherine.
Oh, look, I do, because one of the problems I have with her dress, she doesn't always look ghastly, but for the most part, she doesn't look well put together.
Mm,
And I say that as a dressmaker. Sometimes she could just do with fitting. But when you're wearing bare shoulders or a backless dress, and people want to embrace you, or young children, they're exposed to all this flesh, and
mm-hmm,
it's really quite disconcerting. I don't want to, go cheek to cheek and you give someone a kiss and they got bare shoulders. You generally put a light touch around the shoulder area, and I don't want to do that with someone I don't know. But Megan, she just has to push the envelope. She can't help herself. She just has to make it all about her, and you're going to accept me on my terms, and I will not bend the knee to any cultural requirements or subtleties. She's just like a bull in a china shop, and she's really vulgar. She just, there used to be the saying about the vulgar American traveling abroad. I was thinking about this morning. They've got nothing on this girl. This
mm,
girl is Just absolute trash.
She
I,
is. Now,
I don't say that easily. I don't like using that, but she behaves like trash.
now looking at the comments section, Catherine, of course. Hello, our dear friends. Thank you so much. We appreciate your thoughts in the
Yes,
comments.
princess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they are doing really well. Princess, hi, thank you, Lisa. They are having a time of their life in the comments section.
nice.
Yeah, and they've raised some incredible questions here, and of course, Catherine is pure class. You very rightly do. I think that that um, that game, if it was a game between Catherine, Megan, and who is class, we know who won that already.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
right on day one. And somebody asked a very important question here. Was it Lisa? Let's see, said, why doesn't King Charles, surely, I think this is from Joe.
It's Joe
Joe,
Vickers. I was
yeah,
just reading that. Yeah.
yeah. Charles can give the orders, remove them from the official royal website and the link to the Sussex website. That is exactly what everybody has been asking for, and they want that. That is exactly what they want to be done. Strip them of the royal website, get that link off Sussex website, because it is as if the royal family is marketing and encouraging them to continue doing what they are doing. How many people
Why do you
watch the
think
royal
that
family
they're not
website?
doing that?
Tons and tons of people out there. So, of course, if you're going to be putting Meghan and Harry's Sussex website link on the royal family website, it's more like you are advertising, isn't it?
Well, I don't understand it. Why do you think? I didn't mean to talk over you earlier. Sorry.
No worries.
Why do you think that they are hesitating in that regard? Because they would know the public mood on this issue. What do you think the problem is? Why are they balking at that? It's
No,
this is why I don't believe they'll remove the titles, because if they can't remove a link off a website, a
Mhm.
business link,
Mm.
why? How are they going to do the really hard work? They're not going
How are
to.
you? Exactly. That's one of the big questions. At least do something. And I said this last time, start from small steps, okay? If you can't take the royal titles off from them at this point, okay, strip them off the royal family website. That is a good step to show us. And that should be really the starting point to show people that, okay, you have detached yourselves come away from these two completely, okay? So even if you leave them with their titles, as long as nobody is saying them on the royal website where everybody arrives every day, I will tell you this, and this is something I found out recently. Every single one who is genuinely interested in the royal family and the future visits the royal family website at
Yeah.
least twice a day to see what has changed. I'm telling you, Catherine, you'll be surprised how many people dash there every morning and evening. Have those two been stripped off that were royal family website? And they go on it and they scroll all the way down. They're still on. Okay, let's wait tomorrow. Back on. Are they off now? Yeah. Oh, they are still on. Okay. So people are constantly calling out the royal family to get these people off that website. So I don't know what it is. But last time we, of course, said that the king is still the father to, Harry, William. So he would still like to see his son survive out there. And he doesn't want to be too harsh to get everything and strip him off and take everything away from Harry, because he knows he will be finished. He won't have anything left to hang on. Okay. But also, what they know about Prince Harry and how he could probably react when he's stressed or when mental health kicks in, and also all those fears of how that could affect him. Okay, in the mix there, but I'm quite sure meetings are going on. All these summits that were here that are being organized behind the scenes at Balmoral, Sandringham, these royal, uh, uh, rest periods. Okay, so I'm sure these are things that would have been discussed over and over again. Look for a way of trying to get them off, how to deal with the issue of the royal titles and to stop them. But in the meantime, I think it's King Charles being very careful on going too hard and too harsh on Harry because he is still his son. And
Yeah.
if he breaks down, who will pick up those pieces? It will be the royal family. She will still come to pick up his pieces. But it
Well,
is
it's
only
the sad
time.
truth.
Yeah, it's only time. And, this will, and we know that King Charles obviously is now into this transition. He doesn't want to get his reign, mixed up with a lot of this. So he stripped off his son from the family website, or he's treated him like this. So how can a father treat his son in such a way? So, and fathers, a son will always be a son, regardless of how they sin or whatever they do. But sometimes you've got to put issues of family aside and the country aside and go with the country's interests. Because at the moment, I think the whole country, by reading around and, of course, looking at how many people
Mm.
asking these questions and the articles being thrown out there, everybody is more like saying, hey, what are these two doing on the royal family website? So you've got to listen to them. Okay.
Oh, the king is in an invidious position. He really is, and being unwell is certainly not going to help. The problem they have now, though, is with this talk of a summit, Balmoral summit, being discussed in the media and elsewhere on social media as well. They have to deliver now. They have to deliver something when they
Mm,
all return back to work. They
mm,
have to deliver something. Has to. They just have to, because the king is enjoying a degree of positive support in the UK at the moment, and even here in Australia. It's flat, but it's there, and
mm.
the royal family is doing well at the moment. Remembering we don't have the Queen, and they are not as present because of the illness in the family. But I've lost you, Francis. I've lost you. Hello, Francis. Um, hello.
Hello?
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Ah,
It's the technical issue. Sorry.
yeah, no, it's good. I knew it wasn't my side because I was still in the studio,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you,
I'm glad.
Princess.
Yeah, thank you. But I, all I'm suggesting, just closing the loop on that thought, is that they need to deliver now. They need to do something decisive, and it can't be hints behind the scenes that gets leaked to the press. So,
Mm,
look, I've got a lot of empathy for the king. I really do. but they're in a really vulnerable position with the monarchy streamed down to the extent it is. You know, they need to do something decisive in relation to Harry and Meghan, and the public expect it. He's the king. He is. We can all feel deep empathy, but he's the king, and I don't know what the solution is. I'm no expert in these areas, you know. So, but when you consider that they're enjoying a lot of popular support at the moment, they don't want to jeopardise that by dragging their feet on some of these key issues that really occupy the mind of the public, you know, because they do
Mm,
seem
mm,
they are seen as negative, a negative influence on the monarchy, on the reputation of the monarchy.
mm, You're very right. And maybe what we're gonna see is a King Charles who's gonna slowly go through his reign. Be sort of treating Meghan as and Prince Harry as he is right now, approaching them through that inaction, yet distant,
Mm.
because we know he's distant from them. We've seen these articles with Prince Harry trying to reach out to his father, and then his father is unavailable. The answering
Yeah.
machine, is telling Harry, your father is busy now. And this is Prince Harry's father. You would imagine the king would be picking up easily, but he doesn't pick up. Last time Harry came around here, only had 45 minutes on the dot, with his father,
Mm.
and King Charles was away doing other activities. So that's the most he could afford to give him. And Prince Harry, whenever he's to come back here, has to write, put things in writing to request for permission to stay at any of the royal residences. So it's not a case of Harry, the king's son, is back and he has the keys, he sleeps anywhere he wants. So we know that the king has put there some sort of
Mm.
boundaries, okay? That, okay, you're my son, but this is where you stop, since things have since changed, okay? So he's there. He's being tough on him in his own, king's way, in a way that is not coming across as very harsh in the eyes of everybody, but he is very strict with what Harry can do and what he cannot do here in the country. We know he has said no to police security. The king would have said, right, give him police security, let him have it. He's not having it. So the patterns are there, and we can see them, that there is some sort of strictness that, and that line that has been drawn by the king. And I think
Mm.
the king will now want maybe William, when he comes on the throne, to take it from there. And then this is where we will probably see real action take place. Okay, this is where we will see, William starting to take real decisions, and maybe we could see the stripping of the titles. Are you back?
I'm
Yep,
backstage. Yeah, I was
yeah,
backstage. Yeah.
yeah. We'll come
It's all
back.
good. Yeah, yeah. I thought to myself, oh, I've been banished. I'm in exile. And I took
Yeah.
my dog with me.
Oh, our dear Alma has left us. Thank you so much, Alma. I think she's got to go back to work, or she's been incredible. Thank you so much, everybody. Princess Charlotte, hi.
She's
Lily,
great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think you didn't miss a lot about
No,
what
no,
I
because
said.
I could hear you, but I was backstage. It's just no one could see me. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So I think we're gonna see a king who's gonna take things in that manner, and maybe wait for the King William during his reign to take his own course. Okay.
I
Yeah,
feel I feel for William. He's got a lot on his shoulders.
Mm. Bye, Alma. Thank you so much.
Bye,
Bye. She's been
William.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for the thoughts. See you soon again, Alma. We will be holding these lives. I think we might go live again tomorrow. You know,
Yes, yes,
why
because
not?
there's
We
a
are
lot
having a,
happening.
yeah, we are having a time of our life, aren't we, our dear friends? Have we got any
Evangelizing.
questions in here that we might have missed, Catherine?
Hi, Lily. Hi.
Hmm. Yeah, Harry only reaches out for favors and money. Yeah, can I agree with that? Okay. Princess says, agreed, but he's too afraid of the optics. Yeah, absolutely. Princess Harlot, by the way, where are you from? Is that Canada? Is it Australia? You might be in the same country as Catherine, there.
Oh, yeah, I'm in Sydney.
Yeah,
Sydney,
yeah,
Australia.
yeah. And then we've got
Yeah.
Paul Dolman here. Megan's dress is so inappropriate. Can't imagine what she was thinking. Paul, hi, you've come in as well. Great to see you. Yes, this is what we are talking about. Okay. So it's good you've highlighted about the dress, and many of our friends in the comment section here had actually commented on these dresses. But you can see again that dress outfit, it's backless, it's strapless, and then we are having the first lady of Colombia wearing this dress, covering herself up, appearing to be a real woman out on engagement. And then Meghan Markle turns up in a dress like that. So we have real issues here, real big issues here. Okay,
But
Seattle, but her British
I mean,
system was in the
sh-
UK.
she could be wearing like a nice, if she wants to show herself, which she obviously likes to display herself,
Yeah,
she could wear a sheer um, shrug, or she could wear um, a beautiful chiffon scarf that
and
rests
cover
over the
up.
shoulders.
Yes, yeah.
It's just this bare skin.
Hmm.
She looks like she's just walked off a California beach.
Yeah.
And look, I don't like to criticize
Okay.
the way women dress, but she's trying to present herself as a royal dignitary. Well,
Hmm.
there's a few basics that go with that. You don't see Catherine, the Princess of Wales, you don't see Sophie getting out like this. They just always look beautiful. They're always,
They
oh, I
wear
don't know.
decently, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
going to be meeting young ones. We had
mm,
earlier on they were at a
very
school.
good.
Yeah, the what are you going to what image are you going to show to these young ones who we know these days tend to go by what they see? Okay, so Princess Harlot is from Seattle there. Oh, great to see you. Thank you, Seattle, United States. Catherine keeps disappearing. Catherine, is it a
I'm
technical
here.
issue on
No,
your
I'm not.
side?
I'm not touching anything. I just keep going backstage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Paul is asking there, is it true? Can you read that, Catherine, from your
I
side?
can.
You've got
Yeah,
glasses
Paul.
on you.
And he says, is it true that the royal family are going to have talks about removing Harry and Meghan's titles? Well,
Yeah,
you mentioned that at the beginning of the show. I'll
yeah,
leave you to answer that.
yeah. There is a talk of that allegedly going on behind the scenes in the summit, because royals usually meet around this summertime, take a break, and it's not a break per se that they've completely shut off, but during that time they do a lot of reflecting and look at how they've performed in the last quarter going forward, and if there is anything that needs changing or reacting to any emergencies. And there are talks that the titles could be on the plate, and we know the titles have always been at the center of this ongoing debate. So surely somewhere, somehow, there will be conversations, I think, around how they go forward with leaving these two with those titles. Now, it wouldn't have been a problem had they not been using these titles in the way they are, because we saw them in Nigeria being addressed as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, on that visit, and looking at the invitation later from Colombia, from the Colombian vice president, again, it was signed off at the bottom, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, we invite you. So you can see that these invitations are coming through an angle of royals being invited to go in the capacity of, but they are not working royals. So these letters should be signed to Harry and Meghan. And so there is a lot of that going on, and the royal family will probably want to look at those letters and see if they can use them as, evidence that, look, this is what is going on. You're misusing the privilege you have. Now, they are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. It's listed on the royal family website. Nobody is saying no, they are not, but they are not supposed to front those titles in any capacity going out on visits and businesses that have nothing to do with the royal family. So you're very right highlighting that, Paul. Thank you.
So, what do you think of the fact that they've changed their name from Mountbatten Windsor to Sussex? And it's on the website, they're known as Sussex, and the children want to be known as Sussex. And the logic that Meghan is citing is that she felt it was really unfair to name charity after her son, that they need to have more consistency with their name. But on their website, it's got Prince Harry and Meghan. So I believe there's some speculation that this has been done intentionally. They can't just use the Sussex name like that, first of all. It's not actually,
Mm, mm,
I don't think it's legal what they've done. But
mm,
because it doesn't say Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex on the website, it says Prince Harry and Meghan.
mm,
And some speculation is that that's been done intentionally, so it becomes Prince and Princess, um,
mm,
right? So
mm,
that's how she's sneaking it in, so
mm,
that because her children are Prince and Princess, so now she's sneaking herself in, dispensing with the title Duchess. So to me, she does do things in a roundabout way, but she achieves her objectives.
And she will of course hold on to these titles for as much as and long as she can. Lisa H had to leave. Hi Lisa, thank you. If you
Hi,
haven't left
Lisa.
yet, thank you for being part of us. We are soon coming to the end of our live stream, so bear with
Hi,
us,
Lisa.
guys. But thank you so much for those of you who have stayed here till the end. And the timing, of course, for these lives is a tough one, of course, because we are trying to balance the time here with Australia. And now we know Catherine has had to wake up very early.
Yeah, my phone. I
She's all
missed the
fired
call.
up. Yeah.
2 o'clock he rang me. I asked him because he knows that I'm sometimes awake, and that must have woken me because I saw the missed call, and I looked. I thought it's not long after 2. Why is he ringing me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, these
Yeah.
such pressing matters of the
Yeah.
Sussexes.
Yeah, and as you can see, most of our friends in the comments here as well, some of them are just using their breaks in work, so the time is all over the place. So I really appreciate every
We're making
single
it work.
one of you who is
Yeah.
making your time to come and be here with us.
Mm. Thank
Yes.
you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lisa. And Joe here. By the Joe Vickers, where are you from? Okay, I'm watching you while in bed. Hi, Joe. Thank you. Where are you from, Joe? Is that the UK or Australia? Oh, she's tired, Joe. Yeah. Please tell us where you're from, Joe. I know Paul is from the UK because I think we had, if I think he told us last time. I'm from Yorkshire. Yes, that's Yorkshire, right next door to me. So it's at Durham Way in Yorkshire. Very beautiful place, Yorkshire is. But yes, so let us see where this trip is going to go, Catherine.
Yeah, yeah.
I know that controversies have started. Meghan Markle is all in full swing in action with her dress sense. Okay. She started her outfits that got her in trouble last time. So it looks as though there are no lessons learned here. And but this trip is one of those trips that, again, locals are
Hi,
not
Lily.
getting its value. What is it all about? Okay. And they're, of course, going to talk about cyberbullying and, you know, the digital environment and how it has become a negative force, forgetting to highlight that it is the same platform that is shaping their brand up. So while you call it out, it's also important to also talk to the young ones that once used properly, it can be a force for good, and make sure they have a balanced argument going down the road, as opposed to how they approach things from an angle of whinging, mourning, and
Ah,
negativity, which people are so fed of. And we hope that by the end of it all, they would have achieved what they set out to achieve. But I know that for us royal watchers here, who are interested in people doing the right things, going about the right way, glorifying His Majesty the King and the Commonwealth, we know that these two away have done nothing but tarnish that image. Okay. And whatever way they go about doing their thing, even if they get these things right, people will always come back to the fact that they are not grateful to the king, Prince Harry, to his roots, and until they start uh, recognizing that the royal family made them what they are, we don't think people are gonna dance to the tunes that they put out there every day. Mm.
well, I think that the stepping down of their CEO has really hurt them. People are not stupid. People read through the lines, and especially in the day of social media, and people will be asking, why did someone of his stature leave just prior to, a scheduled trip? People will be asking questions, and people are already concluding and speculating that there's been disputes over the trip, there's been disputes over the timing of the trip, the safety of the trip, whether it even should go ahead. And it's probably all of that is true. But I don't think that that's helped them at all. And it'll be interesting to see what develops out of this trip. But I think they're playing a dangerous game. That's my opinion. I think that going to a place like Colombia in order to prove a point about your security, and that you're sending a message to back home when you've got outstanding court cases. I think that Harry's really done his dash. He's blotted his copybook with this, and I don't think it's going to end well for him in the long term, maybe the short term, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see
Mm.
what happens over the next few days.
Mhm. And on that note, before we end, how can we not highlight this upcoming royal visit?
Oh, we
Uh,
have to.
yes, and Catherine, of course, is doing a lot of work in Australia, working on projects of um, spreading awareness and lifting up spirits in Australia with regards to King Charles's upcoming visit. Catherine, why don't you tell us what you have achieved so far with promoting this trip across the pond?
Um, well, I don't, I'm not a super socially person, but when I get out and about, I ask people, are they looking forward to the King's visit? And some people know it's happening, others that don't pay attention to that space, oh, they're not, but they're glad to know. And but I can't discuss it with my family, particularly one of my boys, that because he's anti-monarchist. But
Mm,
um, and we don't have any dates yet. I'm quite beady-eyed about it. But what I have started doing, and I actually haven't posted anything for about a week, but I started a playlist of because the royal family are really, oh my gosh, they've got a long history with Australia, and their royal tours were astonishing. The first royal tour, can you imagine it? They'd never seen the Queen, and she lands after being at sea, I think it was on Britannica, and she arrives. She's the most beautiful creature. She was so beautiful. And she's got this handsome prince with her, and across all the states, and the population of Australia back then, it's 26,000 now, it was only 9,000. And,
mm,
in Melbourne, they had over 1 million people descend on the city. In Sydney, which is, a major city as well, uh, over 1 million people. So they've come from far and wide to
mm,
see
mm,
the Queen and her handsome prince,
mm,
And then
mm.
Hobart, it's the little island of Tasmania down there. They really turned it on, So I must admit, I'm really enjoying revisiting all of those royal tours and the history of Australia. And it's really in our DNA.
Oh, ye-
Doesn't matter what the Republican movement tries to do, it's in our DNA.
yeah, yeah, I see that. And you've kept us engaged on YouTube, posting, those memories of those past
Beautiful.
tours of the Queen and Prince Philip. Very, very beautiful. By the way, I'm so, so glad to see how your channel is growing, Catherine. Thank you. It's done really, really well.
Yes, yeah.
It's
You- YouTube is
testimony. Yeah,
well, it's an unusual beast, YouTube. It's not like TikTok. It's a different animal, but
it's a different
I
animal. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That
I
you,
like YouTube, but I'm struggling to understand it. I feel like I'm dating someone that I don't quite understand yet.
yeah, you've done so well. My friends who are on here, if you
Thank
haven't
you.
yet subscribed to Catherine's channel, again, please do. Her channel is Arroyo Iotas. Her name stands there. You can't miss it. Once you put that name in, it will pop up. And I think we're on 633 now, as so you're doing really well going up. That's good. I'd
Yes,
like to see
yeah.
you get to that 1K
Thank
before the
you.
end of this month.
You're
And please
sweet. Thank
check,
you.
yeah, check and see if you're still subscribed, guys, on our channels, because YouTube has a way of unsubscribing people if they haven't visited for a while. So the 8 of you who are still on here, please check and see if you're subscribed to our channels. And please head over and give a view to our recent posts just to give us some bit of engagement there, because YouTube, I think, pushes these posts according to how many people have viewed and liked them for some reason, you know. But views recently have been really down. I think is it because again there is this Meghan Markle and Prince Harry wave out there that is killing all our posts and all of that sort of thing, but they can't win. Thank you so much, Prince Charlotte, for subscribing. I think you've already been subscribed. Thank you. We've got Nessa here. Nessa Blue. Okay, so that's the name there. I agree. Thank you for joining us today. Paul, thank you. Every single one of you guys, if you're not yet subscribed, please give us a subscription. And that's how we are uh, still coming here and doing these lives. Your support is hugely important to us. Okay, thank you, Vikas, and good night, everybody. Um,
Okay.
yes, yeah, please, please, that's very important. I'll highlight that again. Yes,
Thank
leave
you,
a regular comment on
Princess.
YouTube to push
You're
engagement.
beautiful.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so, so much. Tell me
Thank
what you
you.
think about our recent posts. I think I posted about Meghan Markle in Colombia just
Yes.
before they arrived. Please head over and give us a view. Have you posted yet, Catherine? I'll let you go and post if you
I'm
haven't.
going to. I am. My dog says goodbye.
Yes, go
Woof
and catch
woof.
up with the party. I've got mine here as
Yeah,
well.
we got our
So
dog.
yeah, we are all rock and rolling.
Lovely.
Yeah,
So
it's a
thank you, everyone. I'll
thank
see
you
you on
everyone
YouTube or
on
TikTok.
YouTube. Yeah, and Catherine, we will. I think we'll be back on tomorrow at some
Tomorrow,
point.
yes. Yes. We'll
Yes,
confirm the time on WhatsApp.
absolutely. Okay
Yeah.
then. Bye
Bye,
bye
everyone.
everyone. Thank you so much for your support and those
Thank
comments.
you.
Thank you. Bye
Thank
bye.
you,
Good night
Francis.
and good day, everyone. Yes.
Okay.